cracking, everybody? New video. I tried to record this video earlier in my car, my first break, and it was hot as hell in my car. And about 7 minutes in, my phone started overheating. So here we are again. This is part 2. I told you guys I would do a 3-part series on these little prison hits, right? That have to do with cops. So this one happened in New Folsom. Now, let me preface this by saying this. I had just got out of the shoe, right? And when I was getting out of the shoe, I knew that I would wind up going to a C facility in New Folsom. This was 2001. Because somebody that I had blasted a few years before that, somebody I had whacked was, he was on B-Yard. He was a good dude. He just, he had an issue coming and he lived and he fixed it. And so he was on B-Yard, so I knew I was going to C-Yard. Okay. The incident that I'm going to tell you about actually occurred on B-Yard. Okay. But I was in the hole with several of the people that were involved. Now, so in a lot of the prisons, when you go to the Chowhall, you don't see the food. There's just like a hole in the wall, a little square in the wall, a little rectangle, and a tray is sitting there, and you walk up to it and you grab your tray and another one will slide off for the guy behind you, right? Well, New Folsom's different. New Folsom, you actually see who's serving, and you see what's being served, and so you can just, you got your tray in your hand, you'll be like, nah, you know what, I don't want none of that, just give me this, give me that. And so this is when you could still walk to the chow hall in New Folsom, right? So obviously chow was running, and vatos were, everybody was walking to the chow hall that wanted to eat. Well, there was two raza from Southern California going through the line, right? There were Sally's. And damn, I hope that doesn't demonetize my video. Somebody stopped at the stop sign, it's bumping. But anyways, as they were going through, they got their milks, right? And then there's like a rail, a bar, like a metal rail, kind of like what you see at like Magic Mountain or whatever when you're going to the lines, to the rides. And so when they came around that to walk to the table that they were going to sit at, another vato says, hey, homie, you want my milk? And so, the vato's like, yeah, shoot it, fool. He gets it, boom, puts it on his tray. Well, the Judas didn't see him get the milk from there, right? So when the vato's about to sit at the table, the Judas walks over, he's like, hey, crazy. Hey. And he goes, where you get that fucking milk from? Already wrong. You don't cuss at people like that, right? So he goes over and he snatches the milk off the tray, right? So when he snatches the milk off the tray, that vato drops his tray, pulls out a knife, and gets to stabbing the Judas. When the other Judas that were there decided to respond like they're supposed to, it's their job. The vato who got his milk took by the Judas, his Sally pulls out his knife, and they go to town, right? These two vatos, raza from Southern California, are stabbing the dog shit out of these two COs. And remember, they wear those vests, so it's, you're not gonna, and not everyone's gonna, every strike is gonna go in, but you have to be, selective on where you're hitting. But so they're doing their thing, right? Alarm goes, and the chow hall doors open, and COs start streaming in. And as they come in, more raza from Southern California start jumping up to keep them occupied so the first two can do what they have to do. And I'm going to tell you something right now. And those individuals, you know who you are. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at you. Every single raza from Southern California in that chow hall that day jumped up and handled their business, except 4 dudes. That's not a story that I'm going to tell, but I got to keep it factual when I'm telling these stories. Luckily, because there were so many huras, and when you're in the chow hall, that's an easy place for the huras to kill you. That was a favorite spot of the huras in Tehachapi. That's where they would kill a lot of people, because there was a specific person that worked in the chow hall over there that everybody had heard about. If you ever get transferred to Tehachapi, you know this guy. He was involved in a very famous hit, but they were like, that guy works in there. If you get action, get on him. And the cops had killed a few people for moving on that guy. But that's a story I wouldn't be able to get into other than that right there, superficial. But yeah, so because there were so many COs in there, and you remember when they're shooting out that tower, the tower's right there in the tower. I mean, the gunner is right there. They're shooting with mini 14 rifles with 223 rounds. These are rifles to hunt deer and shit, you know. If they fire that rifle in that small place, it's gonna go through you and maybe hit a seal. So the only reason why nobody got killed that day was because they didn't want to kill a seal in the process. So after all the dust settled, you know, they got the COs out of there that were whacked. Um, they got all the raza out. They got all the convicts out of the chow hall. You know, people went to the hole. What do you know about? Was it like 6 months later? They gave that CO that got whacked, the one that snatched the milk off the tray, they gave him an award. The CDC gave him an award for valor. So brave. He got himself and his partner stabbed over some motherfucking milk. But, as always, this is a cautionary tale. You want to run in the streets, you want to live that criminal lifestyle, you know you're going to go to jail. There may be somebody that gets an extra milk that day, one of them days when you're in the chow hall, and you might get another super cop that wants to play Russian roulette, and he might snatch somebody's milk, and there you go. It's time for you to perform too. You didn't drink none of that milk, but you're gonna get some of that ass whooping when the huras are done. That's what they do. You know, when they get touched, they don't let that shit go, and they make sure it's in their C file. It's a cold thing. But there you go. There's part two. Um, I haven't decided what part three is gonna be, and maybe if this is, you know, you guys been asking for these, you know, and they're not getting viewed, but I know it's YouTube not putting my videos in the algorithm. They kind of sidelined me because I took a few days off. I'm back. Maybe if it gets successful, it'll be a 4-part series. I don't know. That's always up to you guys. But thank you guys for the support. Thank you for the views. Go ahead and comment, like the video, subscribe. Those of you that are able to, who haven't yet, look into becoming a channel member. It helps. You know, everything helps, man. I know times are rough right now, so I get it. But anyways, you guys be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.